somebody asks, what are the benefits of family constellations? Well, they're infinite. I put all of my testimonials into AI and asked, what are the common threads between all of these? Because there's like almost 100 of them. What are the common themes that show up in all of these testimonials? And what it spit back to me is increased groundedness, feeling more centered, lighter, more content, feeling like a sense of completion, and feeling calm where there was once tension. Changed relational dynamics. So better conversations with parents, radical improvement with a partner or family members, viewing anger through a different lens, detaching from old wounds, looking at family with new eyes. Another theme, another form of benefit of constellations, reduced reactivity. Yeah, people often say that they're able to let go of little things, or they're not so triggered by certain dynamics and patterns that show up. Not as triggered, more space before reacting to life experiences or circumstances. An increased emotional capacity. So people often are able to expand their capacity to feel, to allow feelings to surface and come forward. Yeah, the willingness to face uncertainty or to face challenging, difficult emotions, right? When emotions do surface, they feel manageable because there's this underlying understanding, this foundational understanding that, hey, this has a positive intention. Let's look at it. Let's see what this is trying to do that's good, right? Another core benefit is having insight into the systemic dynamics, the systemic elements of our patterns and beliefs, behaviors, traumas, etc. So like seeing patterns more clearly and being able to connect the dots between myself and my family members, the ways that I tried to not be like my mom, and then I ended up being exactly like my mom, right? These kinds of things. Recognizing inherited dynamics, and being able to see, this is a huge one, being able to see what belongs to me and what does not belong to me. Yeah, there are some dynamics that show up novel in our own lives that perhaps we're experiencing for the first time and that actually don't belong to our ancestral field. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we experience very unique life situations that no one in our family has really experienced before. Maybe we come from generations and generations and generations of wealth, and then for whatever reason, bam, it hit the ground, and in this generation, it was bankruptcy. That might be a new dynamic that's being introduced into the family system. And so what people are able to recognize often are, what are the dynamics that belong to me uniquely as an individual, and what belongs to my ancestral field, to my family lineage. And the last kind of category of benefits of constellations based on all testimonials is subtle but lasting change. Yeah, that even 40 days out, people are continuing to integrate. They're continuing to see how these dynamics have shown up in their lives, how they have played out, getting to make new decisions, having opportunities to navigate these dynamics in new ways. A lot of people say, wow, I really didn't expect that to last. I didn't anticipate going into a 2 or 3 hour session and having a lifelong change occur. A lot of people have said different variations of, that was like 20 years of therapy in 2 hours. That was like 10 years of therapy in 2 hours. That was like 5 years of therapy in 2 hours. That was more helpful than all of the therapy I've ever done in my whole life. I actually moved the energy. We didn't just blah, blah, blah. We actually created a lasting shift. And often people say, it really shifted something at the root for me. And I was able to actually genuinely shift that for good and create a lasting, perhaps permanent change within my own life. Yeah. I also work with a lot of parents, and parents almost 100% of the parents that I've worked with very soon after, or either immediately or very soon after, many parents that I work with see the shifts within their children. Yeah. And one way to view this is when I do healing work, I can make it available to my parents. Sometimes parents will also shift when I, as the younger one, shift a dynamic within my life. I feel like we make that energy available to the parents. The parents have to choose that for themselves. Whereas when a parent does the work, if you imagine a river, the water flowing downstream, if I filter the water right here, any of the water downstream from me will be filtered, right? I see this within the family lineage, right? So if I'm here and I'm choosing to clear the energy within the ancestral river, perhaps my parent will adopt the same strategy and install their own filter at their part of the river upstream, right? But once I've filtered it here, any of the energies downstream will inherently and inheritedly benefit from this shift that I'm making, this cleansing, if you will, of the river of the ancestral energy, right? So it becomes immediately available to children once parents do this inner work. And I find that that is one of the most beautiful things to observe long-standingly, that this creates freedom, much, 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 much greater freedom for the children when parents do this work. And that's one space that I'm really interested in bringing this work to more, is conscious parents who are really wanting to be of benefit to themselves and future generations. Yeah. So we're going to close this session. Thank you so very much for being here and for sharing this space, for submitting your questions. I love each and every one of you. And you can find me at my website, zeffield.com. Wherever you're watching this video, it'll be in the description below. And I'm so happy to be bringing this work to the world and continuing to spread awareness and recognition of this as an option for our deepest growth and healing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to listen. And I'll see you in the next constellation session. Lots of love to you.